Hi guys, let's start. In this final piece of the morning, we are going to do a very brief discussion. The idea is to make an exercise on raising scientific questions. So yesterday, seven initiatives were presented for us, but the idea is to formally put into small pieces of paper the scientific questions that these initiatives address. You can do it in pairs or go together with the people who runs those initiatives and try to raise in the post-its which are the scientific questions addressed by those initiatives. Okay? Half an hour. Let's go. Oh, sorry, 50 minutes because we are going to discuss later. 50 minutes. Let's go. Let's finish the discussion so we can have lunch. Are you ready? No. Oh. So, can we start? Who thought about BRBU? Which group?
We are going to talk about BRBU, about the scientific questions of BRBU that BRBU presented yesterday. Who is going to talk? Who wants to talk? BRBU can talk or not?
Well, there might be some general questions, so that all of them might have asked.
Maybe you identified some general questions that all the initiatives were willing to address, so you can also talk about that if you want. Please.
Yes, let's start. Let's start. Are we going to start with general questions or group or project by project? General.
Okay, great.
Okay, good. Who is going to say the first question? The first thing. The first thing.
Ali, tu, ali no fundo.
You.
Okay.
They volunteered there too, huh? They volunteered there.
Não, lá. Lá, fica tranquilo. Tó.
Okay.
Sorry. No, it's okay. So the quantity, the abundance, the type, distribution, and origin of the waste that we find at the beaches.
There's too many there.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Slow.
what
Put it
the
into questions.
abundance, type, origin,
Okay, I'm going to make you stop now because I think you're nicking other people's. Thank you.
Kaylee, could you enlarge the zoom? Give zoom in. Quem que pediu aqui? Aqui na ponta? Aqui? Quem que vai falar?
Não, você pode escolher como achar.
Obrigado.
Okay. So we discussed some things related to. Nossa, eu esqueci completamente. Mundo sem bituca and coral vivo. And also ecofaxina. We found two questions. The first one is: are volunteers aware of the social environmental issues related to the litter, the marine litter, or in the case of Mundo Sem Bitucas, it's not only marine litter?
Is that correct?
Socioeconomic issues. We said issues instead of impact, because not only impact, but also the problems, the causes, the whys. Social environmental issues, actually, yeah.
Remove economy.
Oh, no economic. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the second one is how to move from the activities like the cleanups
Yeah.
2, social control.
You are saying specifically about the cleanups or activities in general.
It's how to move from this first interaction to more to social control, like to influence public policies and so on.
É, como exemplo. Como exemplo. Maravilha. Pronto? Muito bem. Próximo. Quem vai? Aqui, ó.
Pode ser segundo.
So, here, you, and then in the middle, okay? Here, you, and in the middle.
Okay, let's go. We analyzed the Aquário de Ubatuba. Oh, yes? Argonauta. Monitoramento Mirim Costeiro. And Mundo Sem Bitucas. Yes. So the principal answers that they have, they answer the question that if you have litter or not, is the principal question that they answer. They answer as well what kind of litter we have. Mais alguma coisa?
Não, acho que a presença ou a ausência, né?
Yes, the presence and the... Yeah, okay, thank you. And we have some suggestions for questions. First, could be interesting to understand the process of the presence of the litter. How the litter arrives there. Second, we thought in the whole, but we could think specifically these 3 initiatives, how we could compare the data between them, probably developing a unified protocol to compare it.
Between what? Between the initiatives?
Yes. Because of that, and in the end we can compare data. And so we can make the characterization of what we found and how we found it.
Can I make a
And we discussed it as well. Sorry?
Can I make just a suggestion on this observation you made?
Yes.
You were saying about the difficulties of comparing data, but we can make an exercise of making this into a scientific question like,
Thank you.
what are the similarities, for example, in the composition of marine litter between places, you know?
Yes, like a question.
Yes. Like,
Thank
okay.
you, yes. We would like as well make the question about longitudinal effects. What kind of litter we have during the time? Yes, a long term. Sorry, Kate, because I'm reading Portuguese and I have to translate very fast to English. As well, feedback.
So what are the long-term effects of what?
About the litter.
And variability, how it changes along the time. I mean about variability of abundance, quality and quantity of debris that we find.
Not effects on the biodiversity.
Not necessary, but not for all of them. Yeah. And
You talked about the proportion, a proporção das informações do lixo, que você falou, aquilo de que acha que é mais importante.
Should we move on to the next group
So-
because of time? So,
yeah, just
quick.
a last one is that but I think it's related to the similarities and differences about the data. But how can we make it comparable? Like, can we harmonize those methodologies or a database, something like that? Sim. And the sites for collecting. For instance, if you collect in the drift line, you have an answer or a number, and if you collect in the subtitle, in the other areas, so you have other information. Even though you have a similar concentration or density, but then you have to know where did you collect the data from. Yep, thank you.
The other group? Aí?
Well, from the Accuracy project, questions were what was the litter abundance and composition along the beaches? And the other was, is there a relationship between litter density and people density on the beaches?
Am I in the right column?
No, in the first one, please. In the BRBU.
So what is the composition of the litter and
And abundance along the, what was the abundance of litter along the beaches?
and the second question?
Is there a relationship between litter density and people density on
And
the
that's something
beach?
that's already being done.
Yes, that's it.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna add questions to monitoramento mirim costeiro e argonauta. Monitoramento mirim costeiro. Where is it? What is the impact of the initiative in the students about 4 different things? First, about the scientific methods learning.
Yeah, because this is great.
About ocean literacy, about marine litter perception, and about behavior change intention.
What was the first one?
Behavior change
Or maybe
intention.
so
No,
I missed the first one. You said something, ocean literacy, marine litter
yeah,
perception.
the scientific methods learning to them.
Thank you.
And Argonauta, we want to add what is the abundance and composition of macro litter in the north coast of São Paulo? And what is the spatial distribution of macro litter in the north coast of São Paulo? And is there a temporal variability on macro litter?
Sorry, so abundance, composition, and what?
Sorry?
So you've got the abundance and composition of microlitter on the north coast of Sao Paulo
Yeah, macro.
and macro.
Yeah, and... Oh, yeah, that's not for monitoramento mirim costeiro, that's for Argonauta, Instituto Argonauta. And also, what is the spatial distribution of macro litter? And is there a temporal variability? In macro litter, yeah.
Okay, over there.
Hey, So I think we may be misunderstood because you said it a lot in Portuguese and our Portuguese is not good. Sorry, we try. But so we talked about general questions, and then we misunderstood and we thought you meant all the initiatives. So we talked, obviously, because I have Daniela, we talked about hers a lot. Oh, yes, yeah, and Kaylee's. Yeah. So do you want to have Daniela's project there or no? Or if it's not useful, we can just talk about the general stuff.
Just because I don't want to type it wrong.
Sorry. So related to that, very similar to everything. Where is the litter? What types of litter? How much?
Hang on. Where is the litter found? Where is the litter go? Where is the where?
Where is the litter?
Found.
What? Yeah. Where?
Found.
Yeah. Where's it found? What are the types? How much? How much litter is there? Where is it coming from? And importantly, is it changing over time?
Yeah.
And also she explored a little bit how is it affecting the volunteers, and we broke this down into different types, but we sort of started talking about your stuff as well. But in terms of Daniela's, we looked at how is it affecting them in terms of pro-environmental behavior. Or did you do no scientific literacy? No, you didn't. Oh, okay. But that's maybe a question for the future. And we broke scientific literacy down into scientific method, because I think the work you're doing was really nice, teaching children about science, but also teaching children about the environment and the ocean. Does that make sense?
That's for the future or now?
See, I felt that you're doing it, but you think, no, it's more for the future. Yeah.
Perfect.
And then we had a really nice question for the future, where Daniela did, and I don't think, maybe it has slightly been answered, but in general, we'd like to know, do different environments, types, collect litter in different ways? So do mangroves, does the litter get trapped in mangroves more than beaches? And also, things we've talked about today is how does it affect the volunteers in the long term? So the children in the, do they grow up? How can we evaluate this?
Thank you.
Only this?
And also, we wanted a secondary
Very
question is how can we improve citizen science? So how can we develop better protocols? How can we use our experiences to improve?
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you. Another one? Or additional one, Sally? Go first, go. And then I give you.
Okay, so I think maybe from Nintendo Lixo, from Nintendo Lixo because that's where I work, and my master's project is related to this. So what are the pros and cons of different strategies, like working with teachers or working with different stakeholders or working with kids, and what's the best age to work with? But I guess that's also a bit like everyone wants to answer that somehow.
Am I in the right column?
Yeah. And what was the other one? What que você falou? Os indicadores. And Kaylee?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right. And what are the indicators? Maybe that's general as well, I guess. But what are the indicators to understand the change in behavior?
Of who? The volunteers or people?
Of people that were, of the target public in general.
And is that a current question being answered or a future question? Thank you. Any last points to add? Yeah.
We just have came up with 2 general questions. Is there a trend of marine litter quantity over time? And how can marine litter monitoring results influence public policies for the future?
So the first one, is that a question which is already being answered by all of them? And the second one was about public policy.
How can marine litter monitoring results influence public policies?
And is that current or future question?
Sorry?
Is that a current question being answered or a future question to be answered?
It's a future question.
Perfect, thank you. So I think we've got loads of good questions. We will collect your post-its as well, so if not everything's been covered, we can bring those up again. But before we go anywhere, there's an urgent, yeah, what?
Super quick question just occurred to me, because now I'm standing, I see how we are unbalanced in gender, and I start to thinking not about the public target, but if we had some sense of who is doing this kind of initiatives. Not only about gender, but about what is the education, because marine litter is an issue that is multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. So we have biologists, we have psychologists, we have economics, and so I was like curious to think of who is doing this kind of activities. And interdisciplinarity is something that interesting me. So yeah, I think.
And is that for the volunteers or for the organisers?
The organisers.
I like it for the volunteers too, so I'm copying that.
What? Yeah, like demographic profile, education, yes.
Right, I think then, even though we've just had a coffee break, it's time for lunch. Before that, as we're all in the same room, have we got a camera?
Yes, I need to call her.
Okay.
We can take the picture outside.
Outside?
It's better.
Okay.
Because here it's too tight.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll group outside in the coffee area. We'll get a photo and then we'll mission to get some food, some lunch. So everyone outside in the coffee area for a quick photo and then food. Thank you.